Last Friday, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, returned the nomination forms that was collected on his behalf by his supporters earlier in the week. He returned the forms to the leadership of the New Patriotic Party, signifying the formal beginning of his ambition to lead the New Patriotic Party. And wasn't this a grand occasion? The crowd, the numbers, the good politics of a bus ride instead of showing a fleet of Land Cruisers all combined to create the appearance of a new beginning. What is this new beginning? Well, Bawumia supporters say that it will be the first time that a non-Akan candidate of the NPP is showing a formidable candidature. He's already said to be leading in the polls, and Dr. Bawumia is thought of as the best campaigner among the lot. But how did the NPP get here? Well, whether by providence or by design, the NPP has always been led by an Akan candidate. Name them Dankwa, Buzia, Owusu, Oforiatta, Edubuahin, Kufuor, Akufo-Addo. So how come this happened? Well, the story would have been different if one of these three men had been more ambitious. This is the story about Kwame Nkrumah, Bafo Akoto, and SD Dombo. The story is told on page 53 of the book K.A. Buzia, A Symbol of Democracy. Is written by Anania J and is forwarded by President J.A. Kufuor. Now the story begins with the actions of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah recorded in the first paragraph of page 53 of the book, and is as follows. In 1957, the government enacted a law called the Avoidance of Discrimination Act. The act, which came into effect on 31st December 1957, stated, among other things, an act to prohibit organizations using or engage in tribal, regional, racial, or religious propaganda to the detriment of any other community, or securing the election of persons on account of their tribal, regional, or religious affiliation and for other purposes connected therewith. The book continues. All political parties apart from the CPP would have been disbanded because of the majority of their parties were either regional based or had religious affinities. In September 1957, about 3 months before the commencement of the act, the smaller parties coalesced into a unified entity called the United Party, UP. That, according to Mr. C.K. Tedem, a founding member of the UP, was a safeguard of total collapse of multi-party democracy in Ghana. The opposition parties anticipated that Nkrumah intended to make Ghana a one-party state, which he did eventually, and entrench himself as life president. The parties that constituted the UP included the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, ARPS, the Anlon Youth Organization, AYO, the Gadangbe Shifimokwe, GASK, the Ghana Congress Party, GCP, the Muslim Association Party, MAP, the National Liberation Movement, NLM, the Northern People's Party, NPP, and the Togoland Congress, TCP. So at the end of the elections, all of these parties now knew how many members they had contributed to the United Party. It was clear and mathematically obvious that the Northern People's Party, led by SB Dombo and Mumuni Bawumia, had won more seats among the smaller parties than any other group of people, including the NLM. To that extent, the leader of the minority in parliament was naturally to come from the Northern People's Party. But something else happened, recorded in the last paragraph of page 53 of the book, as follows. A remarkable feature about Buzia's appointment as leader of the UP in parliament was the trait of selflessness that the leaders of the various opposition parties demonstrated in making Busia their new leader. Of the parties that merged, the Northern People's Party, the NPP, had the highest number of seats in the National Assembly, and their leader, Simon Diodong Dombo, could have remained leader of the minority in the assembly. Considering Dombo's previous position and the fact that his party was the minority party with the highest number of seats in parliament, he, Dombo, could have been the automatic leader of the new party. More so, he had the requisite qualities for holding office. However, he, Dombo, realized that Busia had extra attributes such as exposure and influence and clout, which would better serve the interest of the party and the country. Dombo, therefore, entrusted the leadership of the opposition to Busia. That act of Dombo has earned him a respectable position in the UP tradition now known as Dankwa Dombo Busia tradition, and the members talk passionately of Dombo's selflessness. So the matter seems settled in some people's minds. There was Dankwa, whose side of the party has been ably represented by Pa Willie and Nana Akufo-Addo. And then there was Busia, who was actually presented as an Ashanti candidate under the inspiration of the great Bafo Sakoto, who shares a paternal relationship of sorts with President J.A. Kufuor. In fact, Mr. Kufuor has often called Busia his political mentor. So, Kufuor represented the Busia part of the tradition. Now, they say that in spite of his selflessness, Dombo has not found a protege. So people think when some people say Edrumiso, it should have more to do with the Dombo part of the tradition than about anyone else. Well, all that may be emotional and cosmetic. So there is another group that advances the arguments for Dr. Bawumia. They have drawn their strength from data. They say that the geographic Ghana shows a clear distribution of votes since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. They said that for the NPP to win elections for the third time or break the eight, they, the NPP, will necessarily need to take portions of traditional NDC areas whilst they work hard to unite and keep their base. They make the point that compared to President Liman, Vice President and President Mahama, they believe that Dr. Bawumia has given the North a clear, competent turnout even with his role as Vice President. They also make the point that if the contest falls between Dr. Bawumia and President Mahama, many young people from the North across the country would want to secure a third presidency for the North by electing Dr. Bawumia. So there will be Dr. Liman, President Mahama, and Dr. Bawumia. On the other hand, if the young Northerners elect President Mahama, they would have had only two, Dr. Liman and President Mahama, which they actually already have. After all, the Ashantis have only J.A. Kufuor. Maybe we could add Achampong and Afrifa, but maybe not. The Evers have J.J. Rawlings. The Fantis have Professor J.E.A. Mills, and the Achims have Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. If the NPP gives the North the opportunity to have a third presidency, then Bawumia supporters say all the young Northerners will vote NPP all the way.
They know John Mahama cannot take me on in the North. I will beat him in the North. I will beat him in the North. Anyway, they know the Zongos will change. Bahakamani. They know the Zongos will change. And even Volta, we will get something from there. So, I know this is why they don't want me to be flag bearer. You the NDC, you want to select our flag bearer for us. How can you hear that?
But politics is not only about tribe. It's about competence, suitability, and marketability. So, in that regard, who is Dr. Bawumia? Dr. Bawumia was fathered by a politician named Mumuni Bawumia.
We now have the arrival of the Chairman of the Council of States, Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia.
He, Mumuni, together with SD Dombo, founded and led the Northern People's Party in early politics. Their fundamental interest was to secure development for the Northern Territories. They wanted the matters that concerned the North to be heard. They loved their people. Mumuni Bawumia became a minister in the Second Parliament of the First Republic. In that regard, nature has played out an interesting scenario. If Dr. Bawumia becomes the MPP candidate for 2024, he will be contesting John Mahama directly as opponent for the first time. But many decades ago, their fathers, John Mahama's father and Dr. Bawumia's father, sat in the same cabinet here in Ghana in 1965.
The Second Parliament of the First Republic, August 24, 1965. Members of the Executive and Officers of Parliament. His Excellency Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, President and Commander-in-Chief. Honorable Kojobo Tio, Chairman, State Planning Commission. Honorable N.A. Welbeck, Minister of State for Party Propaganda. Honorable Imoro Igala, Minister for Industries. Honorable L.R. Abavana, Minister of the Interior. Honorable Kofi Bakun, Minister of Defense. Honorable E.K. Bensa, Minister of Works. Honorable A.J. Douna Hammond, Minister of Communications. Honorable E.N. Okansi, Minister of Parks and Gardens. Honorable E.A. Mahama, Minister of Animal Husbandry. Honorable Hans Kofi Boni, Minister of Food and Nutrition. Honorable Mumuni Bawumia, Minister of Local Government. Honorable F.E. Techi Mensen, Minister of Housing.
And say, that's so Musulmi, isn't that the case? They'll say, but if MPP selects Dr. Bawumia, campaign no, They know the campaign is over. So they will be in trouble. They know we will bring the AIDS.
Mumuni Bawumia returned to active politics in the Fourth Republic as chairman of the Council of State, a position he held when JJ was president. Thus, Mumuni Bawumia shared political space with the NDC, JJ Rawlings and Mrs. Rawlings. How do we interpret this? Supporters of Dr. Bawumia say given the senior Bawumia's huge image in the North, associated with his deep service to the CPP and the NDC, Dr. Bawumia is the best candidate to draw votes from the Nkrumahist and the NDC people who trusted his father's politics. And will there be people in the North who like Mumuni Bawumia's politics? Oh yes, there will be many. But the story doesn't end there. A very basic assessment of parliamentary figures from the northern regions since 2008 will show that the MPP have moved from closing the gap on the NDC in the North to actually overtaking the NDC with the total number of seats from the three northern regions. Unbelievable, but here are the details. In election 2008, of 230 seats in parliament with 26 in the northern regions, the NDC won 21, whereas the MPP won only 4. That was the NDC winning the northern regions over the MPP by 80.7%. That was Bawumia's first time as running mate. Then in 2012, the seat had become 31 in the northern region as it is now. NDC got 20, MPP got 10, an independent candidate got 1. That was NDC winning by 64.5%. Then in 2016, when the NPP won a landslide victory, results were as follows. Out of 31 seats, NDC won 18, NPP won 13. That was NDC winning by 58.0%. Then comes the big one, 2020, and the NPP goes ahead of the NDC by gaining the lead in the 3 northern regions over the same 31 seats as follows. Northern region, NDC wins 9 seats, NPP wins 9 seats. Savannah region, NDC wins 4 seats, NPP win 3 seats. Northeast region, NDC win 2 seats, NPP win 4 seats. Altogether, now in the 3 northern regions, the New Patriotic Party is in a commanding lead. They have 16 seats and the NDC have 15 seats, coming from the NDC's lead of 80% in 2008. That means after 4 election cycles since Dr. Bawumia became vice president on the NPP ticket, he has drawn down the NDC's leadership of 80% in the north to now lead the NDC. Okay, welcome to the show, and thank you very much for your time. You were watching the Dr. Bawumia documentary. You know, a lot has been going through my mind, and I feel sympathetic towards practicing lawyers. I mean, if you're a practicing lawyer and you go to court, and your client is in the dock, he's being cross-examined, I'm guessing, and I'm sympathizing with Abdul Basit, you know, a former Odadie, Tadeo Sori, a very seasoned practitioner. I'm wondering what was going through their mind as in the courts, you know, everybody was getting text messages this afternoon when the process was going on about the things that their client was saying, Richard Jakpa. I mean, some of them were completely wild. And that's our second story for tonight. We'll go on it in a big way. I won't tell you what our first story is, but we'll get there very soon. If you saw our social media flyer, you might know what our first story is. But our second story is the court story, Richard Jakpa's cross-examination. And our third story is the Samuel Kudjeto-led demonstrations, ostensibly against the acquisition of hotels in Ghana. We'll deal with that in extenso, won't we? But let's get these anecdotes from the courts. So Jakpa is in the chair. He's asked that the text messages that you sent or that you have published, how many were they? He says 14. Then it is suggested to him that overall, there are 8 text messages that you advance to the Learned Attorney General. He says yes. They said, okay, so at 68, why did you publish 14? He said, well, I published the one that will help my case. I'm not so sure whether in terms of the outcome that he was actually suggesting that or conceding that the other text messages were against his case. I'm not saying he said that. I don't know whether that's what it will mean. But this is what he said. He said, I published the one that is in favor of my case. And the suggestion is that you have sworn an oath to be truthful to the court. And you see, when you swear the oath to be truthful to the court, they add another line. They don't just say truthful. They say the whole truth. That is what when you are taking the oath, that's what they say. I don't know whether he had forgotten. So if you are his lawyer and you are sitting at the bar listening to him, I feel very sorry for how the lawyers must have felt this afternoon. The guy has taken an oath to speak the whole truth. The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. He comes and says, in terms of text messages, I didn't give you the whole. I gave you some. I said, okay, why? What animated that thinking? He said, but me, I'm giving you the one that will help my case. Viewers, you have still not heard the words. Those of you who haven't heard the story, you have still not heard the words. Maybe the other media houses didn't publish that. Media houses are free to choose whichever angle they want to take. But this also happened in the court. And it is significant in terms of understanding how people's minds work when they get into this politico-legal situations in court where they are not able to distinguish between the political and the legal, and they seem to be mishmashing the political into the legal and creating all kinds of problems for themselves. Then the worst is what I'm going to tell you now. Then they say, okay, so there's some of the text messages left. He said, yes, there is. If the Attorney General likes, he can tender that one. Court said, no problem. Prosecution rise. My lord, we would like to tender the rest. And guess what the lawyers say? And that's why I'm sympathizing with them. I'm sure they were so unsettled and unnerved by the performance of their client. The lawyer said they object, at least one of them, Bassett, said he objects to the Attorney General tendering the other side of the text messages, which Jakpa, his client, had acknowledged does exist. Jakpa has acknowledged that there is... Okay, let's do the percentage quickly, please. Mikael, calculate the percentage for me. 14 of 68. What percentage is it? Calculate it quickly. So that is if less more divide, isn't it? 100 is equal to 68, and therefore 14. If less more divide. So 14 over 68 times 100. Let's get it done very quickly. An overwhelming percentage of the text messages have not been produced to the courts or to the general public. And you have to do it quickly, Mikael. 14 over...
68.
What?
14% of 68.
No, 14 out of 68. What percentage is it? 68 is 100%.
I'm coming.
Those of you listening, if you are sharper at maths, Mikael is an arts boy. Let me get it very quickly. The overwhelming percentage, okay, just do half, 50% of it is 34 or something
Times
like that.
100.
That's 50%. So
Times
just
100.
do it quickly.
20.588. 20.588.
20.5. So 14% of the text messages, which is what you submitted, constitutes 20.5% or 20.58, nearly 20.6% of the whole text messages. Here's a guy who has sworn an oath to tell the court the whole truth. He brings some evidence that he hopes will be important in the outcome, the final determination of the matter. And in submitting this, he says, I'm submitting only 20.5%. The court says, do you acknowledge that there is more? He said, oh yeah, there's a lot more. Why didn't you submit all that? It is not in favor of my case. I submitted what's in favor of my case. A person who is going to assist the court to come to the truth, the whole truth, says these things. You are his lawyer, viewers. You are his lawyer. How are you going to deal with this? How are you going to deal with this if you are Jakpa's lawyer? How? You are listening to him and you see what he's saying. Then the Attorney General rises and says, okay, no problem. We will tender the rest. And then his lawyers come out and say, we will not allow you to tender it. The reason they gave is an interesting reason. And when we get to the story, I will tell you. Now, though, good evening. Welcome to the evening talk show. It's called Good Evening Ghana. Let's do it onto the touch screen now. Good evening, Your Lordship Justice Kulendi, Mr. Jakpa, and the learned Attorney General Godfrey Dame. There are second story, we'll get there. Beyond that, Mr. Jakpa answered questions about his military career. We'll get there later on, but let me just give you a hint so you don't go away. He answered questions about his military career. He did. And then he said something about Justice Kulendi, which sounds, because the matter is still before the courts, let me use the word interesting. Sounds very, very interesting. Almost unbelievable. But he said it. I mean, everybody in the court was shocked. We'll get there. All right, let's move to our first story. Viewers, if you've been watching the political space for the elections, you know that the National Democratic... Sami, how are you? Sami Okunyeto will be coming to you tonight because you led the demonstration and we have a lot to say about it. We have someone in the studio, my friend from Adenta. It's called Adenta Kumi. He's in the studio. We'll be talking about that. We have the information. So, Sami Johnson. Oh, that's a beautiful acronym. Don't you see? Sami Johnson. Do you know why I put them there? This is our first. It's a very short story. And then we take a break and then we come to court. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa here has made an attempt, a very bizarre one, to define 24-hour economy. He has. It's a totally bizarre one. He's made an attempt to do so. Samuel Gyamfi has demonstrated the highest dereliction of duty of any national propaganda secretary of a party. Johnson Asiedu Nketia, the chairman of the NDC, has also attempted a definition of a 24-hour economy, which is a policy statement made by President John Dramani Mahama. Now I come to Samuel Gyamfi. The reason why Samuel Gyamfi, who is the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, the reason why I'm tackling him tonight for dereliction of duty is this. You are Samuel Gyamfi. You are the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Your presidential candidate, a former president, issues a policy statement. I will deliver a 24-hour economy. Once he says that, it behoves you, Samuel Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. It behoves you to now detail it in a document, like the Americans would say, a document. You have to isolate it in a document and tell your communicators, 24-hour economy, background, concepts, implementation, demerits, merits, then you draw a line on the page. Next page, questions to anticipate from our opponents, This is how you answer the question, You give them a brief. Samuel Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, this is your work. You give them a brief. Now, it is obvious that there's no such brief that accompanies the policy declaration by President Mahama. And that is where the problem is. On whose head do you put the problem, Samuel Gyamfi? Why is he not able to do that? It's not that he's not an intelligent man. He's an intelligent man. But he is chasing tapes and following after Jakpa. That is the reason why he's not able to do his work. And while he's not able to do his work, he goes around denying that people who are completely fluffing out the policy statement of President Mahama are not either members of the NDC or they are not members of the communication. Viewers, let me cut a long story short. One guy appeared on television. Nice guy, doctor something. I'll show you the video in a minute. And he was asked, what is 24-hour economy? Charlie, the thing the guy said is the most bizarre of all of them. But it's not as bad as Samia Ablakwa's own, which I'll go to soon. So without much ado, let's see that video. The one that created the trouble for the guy and the one that shows that Samuel Gyamfi has been derelict in his duty as the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Have a look at the video.
The 24-hour economy, papa, yen and John Dramani Mahama said what the modern farming techniques and the deba. Under animal farming. Who call baby to say pudon or chana. Who call her animal farming? Wouldn't say Jatani Mwakesi elephant near the gum egu farm numbi. And you want to mean Cosset or Quacodo, and I said, oh, caught what could be any. It would set up plantation in the BBA. We are no jam one agum. Not jam one guma. Obey here almost swap. What would the plain ever Fabium? No mas as ever and one in any other. Not proud to that, no. What training expert for our musu ever share choir. A friend say, or more ever shem one, so Bobby area, a bit my one of Pania near the other. Nasanyoma way in an air baswa, a bab one or more Marie a Greek, a waggy care, KUST, Legon, woman in a Benya Jumaye.
With all that we are saying, I'm quite confused.
Okay.
I'm confused. I'm confused and I say, animal really no say animal farming no sa jatani winning no ebe benefits. Yeah,
yes. Reason is ebe my tourist attraction.
Okay, good.
Because ukopudon. Now
more of tourism than say ye re animal na
my. To that no so no e mo anakasa no ubetimi a export to be.
Okay.
Who export no na sika no e dey enioma na ekọ no.
Okay.
Na unya dollars. Dollars ne ba na bebo sika sama e dey ejina.
Okay.
Proud to that, no. Te wo make a exploitation no. Movement how be no adwe say wo di nyoma ni bi kɔ no ha. Na de kɔ no, wo de kɔ no, wo benya dollars na ba. Dollars ba because country bia na wo kan nyoma more than the export to bia no. Country na ho de e ba fom. And na Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia ba ya wantimi anya wa ma ho chaba. Eti wo mo we extension officers ni ade ni nyina no. Wo benya adwuma ye. Wo mo ye ayi for masonry for no. Ye beto war, offensive land ni nyina. Omo so benya adwuma ye. Proud to that. Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia eba ya oka say obey one district one factory wantimi. And here John Dramani Mahama say under one district one factory no. Wo no de obey be embark on agro.
I say die nyame nedia. Viewers, have you heard it? Hey, Charlie, politics can destroy nice people. Oh, look at this nice man. He has a PhD. He really does. He's worked hard for a PhD. I mean, you heard him. That is his understanding. 24-hour economy. We are going to rear lions, tigers. We will spray the nutrition onto them. 24-hour economy. So all hell broke loose because everyone thought that this was very bizarre and it became a laughing stock. All hell broke loose. Okay, so whilst all hell broke loose, Samuel Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, then put out a press statement 13 June entitled Kesbin TV Video in Circulation. Dr. William Attawusu not a member of the NDC communication team. Because of the embarrassment, Samuel Gyamfi was looking for a way out because it is his responsibility to organize a document that defines the 24-hour economy, in the background with the research, demerits, merits, implementation plan, how it will affect the GDP, how it will affect business, the cumulative effect, the aggregate effect. All of that is a communication responsibility that should be undertaken by Samuel Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. He didn't do his work. Then he quickly pens a document on social media. He's fighting with Kesbin TV for even fielding the guy on their show because according to him, the guy is not a member of the National Democratic Congress's communication team. He's not a member of the army that he leads. But why should he be a member? When Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo declared one district, one factory, every MPP member could borrow from the leaf of the communication and talk about it. You don't need to be a member of the communication team. Every MPP member who finds himself on radio or television, member of parliament, whatever, understood how to articulate one district, one factory. What Akufo-Addo said, one district, one factory was the same thing Dr. Bawumia said, the same thing Samia Oku said, the same thing everybody said, the same thing Esra Usu said, same. Why? Because the National Communication Directorate must have put together a brief that this is the presidential candidate's vision of one district, one factory. Even if John Mahama has not put together a brief, it is Samuel Gyamfi's work to put the brief together and share among his people. Now, he doesn't do his work. He's derelict in his duty, and this is what he produces. 13 June 2024, Kesbin video. Let's see what he says. It says, my attention has been drawn to a video in circulation in which one Dr. William Attawusu is seen on Kesbin FM offering a bizarre explanation of the transformational 24-hour economic policy of the NDC. For the records, Dr. William Atta is neither a parliamentary candidate nor a member of the NDC's regional communications team that I lead. The views expressed by him on 24-hour economy policy don't in any way represent the position of the party. We urge all producers of various political talk shows in Ashanti region to stick to the approved list of communicators sanctioned by the party in inviting representatives of the NDC to their program. Again, another faux pas. In doing so, I'll come to that. I need that slide back. Wait a minute. In doing so, what he did, Samuel Gyamfi should have. You see what we do in communication. Anybody who's done communication before, when you finish, then you write background, something, things to know. He could even have done FAQs FAQs means frequently asked questions. These are all tools of communication that every communication person understands. So in putting this out, he could have followed with FAQs. Frequently asked questions. You can say, for the avoidance of doubt, readers, for the avoidance of doubt, this is the 24-hour economy. FAQs, frequently asked questions. What is 24-hour economy? 24-hour economy is a policy by John Mahama. When will 24-hour economy take place? 24-hour economy will take place when How will 24-hour economy help the youth? 24-hour economy, FAQs. I don't know whether he doesn't know all that. I think he does. Otherwise, he will not be propaganda secretary of the National Democratic Congress. So he didn't even take the opportunity of this publication to offer the explanation of the 24-hour economy. He didn't. All he said is that the man that you are all laughing at, he is not my man. Forget about him. I don't know him. Kesby people found him themselves. He is not a member of my team. Don't associate him to us. The views he expressed about tiger and lion are his own tigers and his own lions. He should deal with them. Okay, so get me the NDC sacks, the other slide. NDC sacks communication member for saying 24-hour economy will rear lions. That's on 15 June. The guy is fired. Dr. Atawusu, I feel sorry for you. Now, this is the catch. This 24-hour economy, who has been able to say what it is? What do I have here? Kesbin's response is this. Kesbin people, the Kesbin radio people, they responded. They said, evidence. Kesbin media, can I open it? Yeah, great. Kesbin media can authoritatively report that Dr. William Atawusu was introduced by Abbas Nuruddin to our producers as an addition to Ashanti Regional NDC communication team. And as a member, he can be featured on political shows on Kesbin. Okay, so this is the text message they produce. Here, somebody is sending to the Kesbin people, I believe it's Nuruddin, Abbas Nuruddin, is sending to the Kesbin people the number of Dr. William Atawusu. Then he is writing to PSCA. So, yes, Abbas NDC, you can see at the top of the WhatsApp message. This WhatsApp message is becoming a matter because in Richard Jacquet's case, he gives you only 21%. Then he will keep the rest, 80% for himself. So, Abbas NDC is the way in which PSCA of Kesbin has saved the name. So, this is the conversation they have. I think the September 2023 goes off okay. 30th September 2023. He sends a phone number. He says, "Hi PSCA, this is Dr. William Atawusu, our latest addition to the Ashanti Regional Communications team. Please be featuring him on your political programs." PSCA replies and says, Thank you, sir. Very grateful. Sami Jemfi. Have you seen this message? Sami Jemfi, you are an important political officer of an important political party. You make a bold statement without even consulting Abbas Nuruddin. That in fact, if you are speaking to Abbas Nuruddin, to ask Abbas Nuruddin that, na Abbas, William Atawusu na okogu yenima se wo Kesbin, unim no. He would have said, oh yeah, boss, yes, I know him. You know, he's one of us, but the way he spoke there wasn't good. But why should Atawusu go on a show without a document in his hand on what is the meaning of the only policy that the flag bearer has announced 6 months to the election? This is the only policy that the flag bearer has announced. This is a flag bearer who is reeling under the pressure that he should name one thing he did when he was president. He should name one policy success when he was president. He should just name one when he was vice president. Name one. Since 2016. The candidate comes and says, okay, take it. 24-hour economy, I've named one. This is a futuristic policy. Up until now, 6 months to the elections, Sami Jemfi has not developed a template to cover what the presidential candidate said. NDC people, are you listening? Your national communication director, the propaganda secretary, he has not up till now. And if I were the flag bearer, I'll be upset with him. The flag bearer should be upset with him. But I'm sure he's not. I don't know anyway. But if I'm flag bearer, I will be very angry with the guy. I have spoken about a policy. You have not even fine-tuned it. You have not put it together. You have not done that. What is wrong with you? What is happening? Etc., etc. Now he goes out and in his embarrassment and panic, He puts out a statement and says, oh, the guy is not with us. Kesmin TV say, hold on, sir. Take your time. Data doesn't lie. Take your time. Social media doesn't forget. This is the record. Your man, Abbas Nuruddin, who leads Ashanti region, wrote to Kesmin and said that William Atawusu, he is one of us. So please feature him. So, you see, this is the problem. This is the problem. Now, thank you. Let's come to the other explanations of 24-hour economy. And ask Samiji Fida, why was he unable to comment on those? Listen to Ablakwa and the way he struggled to even talk about what it means. Have a look.
Someone would argue that it's ill-defined and it's difficult to convince us that is the wholesome solution to the problems of our country right now.
What's ill-defined about it? I mean, the 24-hour economy is a 24-hour economy. We want to move.
Well, we are not learning more about how to operationalize. What we've got from the NDC.
You clearly have not been listening to us, and you've not been. You want me to send you there? We have a whole blueprint.
I have seen the packet.
Yes.
But it's only a simplified version of what will actually be applied. We are yet to understand how this will be operationalized so that the Ghanaian people can reap from it. The NDC is taking too long in giving us that, but it's been propagating 24-hour economy. A buzz which some will say is trailing off.
Oh, yeah, certainly. It's caught on. And the TUC has described this as a game changer. And that's what this country has been waiting for. It's an idea whose time has come. Look, we have put out the blueprint. We have said that the flag bearer is just teasing out portions of our manifesto. Very soon, in a few months, we are going to launch the manifesto. And that's where, if you want the full program to go into the details, the bolts and nuts, you're going to have it. But there's nothing mysterious. It's not rocket science. We are not saying we are going to space. I mean, we're just talking about a 24-hour economy which has worked in other jurisdictions and can work here.
Is that all? It's just a 24-hour economy for the NDC going into the 2024 election. It's a very simple concept.
I earlier talked about how we are going to deal with corruption. The flag bearer has said that he will have a no-nonsense approach. He has said that he will start from home. Charity begins at home, and that even his own appointees will not be spared. He's talked about constitutional reforms. And under constitutional reforms, he's talked about a whole swath of governance, governance reforms, which include, cancelling the ex gratia, for example, reducing the number of ministers. He has said that he can work with no more than 60 ministers, where we are now 87 and the likes, and it's going to be more because we thought that there's been a reshuffle. We thought they would take advantage of this reshuffle to reduce the number of ministers, but that's not what has happened. People are being removed from sector ministers. They are being sent to the presidency. They are still going to be drawing from public funds. And then at the lands ministry, I'm told the deputy minister who was removed has just been appointed a special advisor to the minister. So virtually nobody is going home. Everybody is being asked to hang on to continue to draw scarce taxpayer funds. So we are saying that we are not going to have this obese government.
On the bread and butter issues is the 24-hour economy.
The 24-hour economy.
Very well.
The 24-hour economy. We're talking about infrastructure. He said that look, we must continue with our program to have every regional capital having an airport. He's talked about the need to have in agriculture to have farm banks.
So I keep asking
cooperatives. So we have not put out our comprehensive.
Please, what did he say? Viewers, what did he say? What did the star boy Ablakwa, even him, he kept referring to some brochure. We have a brochure, and when the manifesto comes out, we are going to explain it. And Akufo-Addo said one district, one factory. He wait for manifesto. He just said, this is what it means. That every district within this will have a factory. The factory will be determined by the thing that the district produces. So if you're a district and we see there's natural palm oil, so the districts and the factories were supposed to come out of the natural circumstance of the district. So if you're a district and you have mangoes naturally, we'll put a mango factory. If you're a district and you have orange naturally, we'll put an orange factory. If you're a district and you naturally have horticulture, we'll put a horticulture factory. In the second phase of it, we'll see how we can blend those things. GMO is there. We can blend somebody's orange with somebody's mango to do mango orange juice. And there came a coffee juice in the central region. Because the central region demonstrated that they could grow pineapple. So a coffee came and it's there now. They're exporting. That's very simple and straightforward. What is the policy has been said by in some document when the manifesto, the flag bearer is teasing it out. TUC like it. It's about getting airports everywhere. Let's not go far. The chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, this is his understanding of 24-hour economy.
24-hour economy, no. The Ayabayani say, Abai Ebecha electricity boa, ewo from Kura, Ediama, Enyuma Yafua, Mobeba Juma, and Ajonuma Beya Juma. Enti Muamuya fundraise, Muamuya welders, Muamu Krakra, a cast in India, Manema, Mushia, electricity pano, Mo Panofo, Namo Juma and Fasua Bamua, Moba Sine, Namo Juma and Ajo. Anajo use electricity nane boa day akọ from one more year iron rods any year mu use nyama wode kese no mo be ye mo adwuma anajo a wo be hu say anyama wode bo be kọ from pa aboa mo ama mo nya mfaso na maburu no so wo mo nya adwuma aye enti abana nteni a church 24-hour economy num na muji tumu a eno aye game changer.
Johnson Asiedu Nketia, you heard him. He said the 24-hour economy means that electricity will be cheaper in the evening. So if you are somebody who uses electricity like you are a fitter or a welder or that kind of thing, you can stop working in the afternoon and work in the evening because electricity will be cheaper in the evening. Electricity will be cheaper in the evening when ECG, from the time we were children, Gridco, they've told us that peak time is evening. That is the peak time. So that is when, if there's doomsday or anything, it happens more in the evening. Because it's peak time, everybody's light is on because people are at home. In the afternoon, some people go all the way to work at the ministries. If you're in Accra, they go to Kumasi in the center. If you're in Kumasi or Takoradi or Tamale, that kind of thing. But Asiedu Nketia says that it is in that evening, which is peak time, that is when the ECG will make the electricity cheaper. So that if you're a welder, you need not work in the morning. You just have to go and work in the evening. That is his understanding of 24-hour economy. There's no blueprint. The last one I'll show you is this guy who is not a top brass of the party, but he showed up in a studio and he also has something to say. 24-hour economy. This is what he said.
Also, about the 40-day hour
24 hours economy.
Now, how do you know all
24-hour economy. No. Very, very simple. She says, you buy about 10. About 10. About 10. Yapon another president another program it's another 24 hours na yakwanim anambwa yapon mama show na still on edda anambwa we put my students na sada so from 10 to 11
off
monpon but another political program enkoso biom another anambwa
because we put 24-hour economy
that's sada so was here
that's sada politics
yes no so was near to us ono so pon apa na omomudi wona musaba na ekọ enim still no mpon obi amfiri ase na ase ejuma ne to aso a
na ye mpon
mo mpon but a program e sisi program ne pon anamboa program ne pon ya pon sisi a empefo ta o mo twen na ka o se nya ta no bebri because on se me kura book na me buy me kura book full book na me buy the o se into se me kasa na content se na be ya me set time endorse njaga ya pon no 24 hours economy na ka salata wo sie se 1 hour na 2 hours a na ya to aso and 12 2 and ya pon ya pon ya kofie
na mo so pon na fufraba the politics throughout
nya policy say be another be fufro peace FM me say mo this way mo ya blah 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 sa we sin na no na omo so bon wuro na say ejuma na ekoso na ekoso and never my economy yet be yet me abo stu ko yet be nya ne tantantam because baby I think na ye ofa anu ohye wonu say dollar sakos review
and 24 hours
say wonu say dollar sakos review so nim
me
ya kwaje 3 billion free I buy dollar yes stable
me ma
So when you close Good Evening Ghana, then when I close, then Apriku and the team will come. They continue Good Evening Ghana till 2 a.m. When they close, another group can. They will do Good Evening Ghana 24 hours, 24-hour economy. Whose fault is it? Samuel Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. He's been unable or he's failed to develop a simple blueprint that his communicators can work with. That's what has happened. It is on his shoulders. This is the problem. All political parties must have communications people who are up to the task so that Ghanaians can have something to choose from, so that we have good, and then we choose one. We don't want a politics. That's what I've been crying about. Yeah, I like Dr. Bawumia, I know that about it. But what I've been crying about, having covered so many elections, is that let's have one election one day where this is good, that is good. All parties are solid. That is what Ghanaians deserve. That is what Ghanaians deserve. But if people are doing this kind of politics, where instead of focusing on his work and delivering something that is of high standard for Ghanaians to make a choice about, he is chasing jackpot tapes. That's what will happen. He's not sitting down in his office and dreaming the strategy that will help Ghanaians, not NDC people only, Ghanaians to be able to assess it and make a determination, to interrogate it. He's not doing that. So his people don't know what 24 economy is. This one says that, this one says that, this one says that. Because he hasn't, then he has the effrontery to be sacking people from the party. Okay, we don't have too much time. I've gone 4 minutes over this story. It's time for us to get to court. Before then, though, let's go to the text message. What people are saying about this one. Sarah, what are they saying?
Okay, so thanks, Paul. This is what people are saying. From Ishan, he says, the montage has too much education induced into it. History is everything to our development. Great peace, Paul Adomosri and the Good Evening Ghana crew. Also coming from Ali Duyao, he says, the silence of Sami Jenfi after court day should tell you something, Paul. Also coming from Akwesi Apia, he says, rearing of Jata and exporting them. This is an explanation for the 24-hour economy. And lastly, also coming from Breman Cheiba, he says, Dutch passports over, put on. What do you have for us, Angie?
Judah Akbar, watching us from Tamale, says, now the 24-hour economy has become a lion to catch the NDC from the top to the bottom. This is just the beginning. 7 December will be more than that. He says, NDC, never again. Okay, moving on. Kamal Amasan Brody says, Paul, there's a difference between street propaganda and adducing facts in court. Jakpa under cross-examination is beginning to exhibit some dishonesty, and I know that Godfrey Dami's image shall be unblemished by the time the cross-examination is done and the NDC's character assassination of the Attorney General shall be exposed. This according to Kamal Amasaman. Bernie, moving on. Mark, watching us from the USA, says, good evening, Paul. Honorable Ablakwa said something that the TUC says it's a game changer and they will build airports in all the regional capitals. That's his 24-hour economy for Honorable Ablakwa. Ghana bread. This is what Mark says. Citizen Francis says the NDC has once again exposed its blatant bias against the Ashanti region. Dr. William Atawusu, a party member from the region, was swiftly disowned and censored from his explanation of the 24-hour economy concept. Meanwhile, his non-Ashanti colleagues who made equally bizarre statements were given a free pass. This double standard reeks of discrimination and hypocrisy. The NDC's selective outrage is a clear indignation of its anti-Ashanti agenda. Oh, that's a strong statement to make. He continues, it's a shame that the party would stoop so low as to silence one of its own members simply because of his ethnicity. Inyas Idrisa says, Imani Africa President Franklin Kudjo has since lost his phone keyboard to comment on the case today. And lastly, Emmanuel Koni Bensa says, I've been frequenting Sami Jamfi's timeline to see his updates on the AG's cross-examination of Richard Jakpa, but he's yet to write anything strange. Okay, lastly, Pakwesi Inachiki says, I think everybody should get Kojo Yankson of Joy FM on Pan-African TV, and you'll appreciate the level of intelligence of that man. His opinion of the NDC and Jakpa tape is splendid and worthy of emulation by some Ghanaian journalists. Paul, back to you.
Okay. My phone is buzzing with it. Let me see this one. Sorry, viewers. Sorry about that. My phone is buzzing with the messages. Okay, I'm confused because some are very, very funny. And there's one NDC guy who sent me one. Some of the people are not happy with you. One key NDC guy sent it to me and said, say Sami Jenfi again. He's always gallivanting something. I won't read it. It's an internal matter for them. So maybe I'll send it to you. I'll just block out the name of the person who sent it. I'll just send it to you so that you can advance. Because I'm hoping and wishing that you will succeed as the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Viewers, it's time now to go to court, isn't it? What's the time? It's 10 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. We go to court in the night. When everybody goes to court in the afternoon, we go to court in the night. Before then, though, I'm being heavily beckoned to take a short break. As they say, that's what pays the bills. So let me take the break. I come back and we are straight in the court of Her Ladyship, Efia-Serwaa. Jakpa in the witness box. DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, prosecuting Justice Kulendi, minding his business in his office at the Supreme Court. And Attorney General Godfrey Adame sitting at the bar, together with Tadeo Sori, Bassett Bamba, and all the other lawyers, seated in the room, a packed hall of Justice Efia-Serwaa Court. Beginning today at about 10 minutes past 12 o'clock at midday, we will replay what happened in Efia-Serwaa's court. After the break, this is Good Evening Ghana, is still live. Hello. How's the time? Okay. Oh, Charlie, we're running. Time is running. Let's get it done. Meanwhile, before we get to her, I find it difficult to call the lady's ladyship. I think it's the lordship. You see, the lordship is a role. It's not a gender. It's a role. My Lord, God is both feminine and masculine. You know, the Gans say ata na nyumo, which is na is woman and ata na nyumo. Ata is the man, na is the woman. Ata na nyumo. God is universal. He's not this and that. So if you're trying to represent somebody in that context, they are all lordship. I think the use of ladyship is trying to feminize the judge's role and it's sort of reducing the effect and the authority on her lordship. Justice Efia-Serwaa's course. We're going to go there. Before we do that, though, Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia has been on the campaign trail. Let's take 5 minutes to see what he's been doing. Here is Peter Kwesi Sarpong. Fantastic man. I mean, there are not many better clergy and clergy who have a great sense of patriotism than Bishop Peter Kwesi Sarpong. And I believe that is him, though. I'm sorry if it's not him, but I believe it's him. This is Dr. Bawumia, who is paying homage to some of these are important traditional leaders. That was the Anglican priest, and this is Dr. Bawumia with the... is it Asante Hini I'm seeing? No, okay, with another chief on his tour in the Ashanti region. Everyone is in cloth. Let's get back to the chieftaincy picture. I'll go through very soon. Now, viewers, let's look at this critically. Look at the smile on all the faces. 1, 2. This one is not smiling as much, but you know he's showing contentment. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at the guy at the end. 8. This guy is not smiling because he's doing his way. Look at this one, and look at the demeanor of Dr. Bawumia. I mean, you got to love this guy. You got to love Dr. Bawumia. You got to love him. Look at the demeanor. The very distinguished banker, the guy who recently was the key principal advisor for the African Development Bank to the country of Zimbabwe. The guy who's been what they call the most effective vice president, said by Dr. Sika Anko, who just published a book, said by Father Campbell of the Catholic Church, that he's been the most effective vice president of the Fourth Republic. Nobody can take that away from Dr. Bawumia. He completely changed campaigning in Ghana onto policy issues, onto delivering speeches, onto reading something to the audience and telling them what they're going to do. That's Dr. Bawumia. You have to admire him. He's not a perfect man. No man is perfect. Only God is. But you got to admire Dr. Bawumia. So for some of these things, you can't go wrong with that. What's this? Keep off. Proposed hospital site. Ordered by Kwabre East. But why are they showing me this? Why are they showing me this photograph? Okay, maybe they'll explain. Okay, so I understand the photograph now. Dr. Bawumia went to inspect the site of the hospital. I'm sure it's one of the Agenda 111 hospital. Because I can see Dr. Nsiah Sarri prominently in there. And, but the guy who has been ironing Dr. Bawumia's shirt, I need him more. See how he has ironed the shirt? Viewers, look at my shirt. I'm sorry, and look at my shirt. Is it properly ironed? Please, the ironing. Dr. Bawumia's ironing man, I need him. Charlie, the guy can iron, man. See the way he's ironed the thing nicely like that. Okay, somebody is saying in the studio that why am I assuming that Dr. Bawumia didn't iron it himself? Yes, I'm assuming that. I'm sorry. I don't know who ironed it. But if it's Dr. Bawumia who ironed it himself, I can't ask him to come and iron my shirt. You understand? I should be ironing his shirts. But if it's one of the guys in the house who ironed it, please, the people in Dr. Bawumia's house, who is the ironer? The guy is too good, man. I need him to teach me how to do these things. You know? So that's the hospital one. The hospital project is still going on. He's inspecting these projects as he goes along. You see the workers working, putting the Agenda 111 hospitals together. You have to admire Akufo-Addo's administration. They say they want to do something. They may not be able to achieve it, but the tenacity with which they hold on to the promise, you have to give that to Akufo-Addo. And every other president who comes after him, we want to see that. When Akufo-Addo says, I'll do something, maybe he's not able to achieve it, but the tenacity with which he holds it. He said, I'll deliver free SHS. He started saying it from 2008. Look at how he's held on to it. Double track came. He said, I'll cross the hurdle. It doesn't matter. One day he was there. Minister says, Mr. President, we can't continue free SHS. 100,000 say, no, let's find a solution. Let's move on. One district, one factory. Yes, NDC will say he hasn't done 200 factories. He has done 100 factories. But if every president was doing 100 factories since 1961, how many factories will there be in Ghana? And look at Agenda 111. It sounded like it's impossible. But look at the ferocity with which they are delivering it. In difficult economic circumstances, in difficult circumstances of the local currency. Today, we are hearing some good news that the economy has appreciated. 4.7 growth in the first quarter of 2024. Fantastic. I heard that on radio today. I was listening to Joy Business in the evening. It was quoted on City FM as well. 4.7 economic growth. And then food inflation is coming down. And industrialization has taken over services. All of that from the statistical services reported. Kudos to the government. It is a very difficult situation. But if you look at the statistics, that will eventually bear fruit. Of course, they say that is not, we don't feel it in our pocket. That's true. I don't feel it in my pocket yet. But when you see the statistics and the numbers changing, it means that it is soon to reflect in your pocket. Look at more of the photographs of Dr. Bawumia. Oh, this is great. I hope this guy is a security man, because if he's not a security man, then Dr. Bawumia should be worried. Because the way the guy is serious, I hope he's a security man. But look at all of them. Look at the love that he's getting from the people. Look at it. Oh, here he went to a room. I think there's Stephen and Tim in there. He went to a room to address a few. Okay, I'm being signaled that we have to get to the courts very soon. So, viewers, let's have a look at Dr. Bawumia's montage. It's 3 minutes long.
Asante mai, moya krado, mese moya krado. Senyanko pone pe, yenim se inshallah beyeho, the next president of the Republic of Ghana. The next president of the Republic of Ghana. Ghana da chinti. Mebno da chinti. Inshallah, 7 December, Mubatua Mano, Aya one touch victory. Moya Prado, and His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
To take you on a journey of possibility. I want you to know that it is possible. In the world of ideas, there are two types of people. There is one group that has new ideas, and there is another set of people who only criticize new ideas. I want you to be the group with new ideas. Mongo money. Now, the new ideas ever in the digital economy. Agriculture, you remember. Sorry, your future is at stake. We want transformational ideas. Transformational ideas. Mama Mestiano. Mama Mestiano. Let me check out. Let him go to the promised land. You never see. Never see.
time to get to court. Good evening. Once again, His Lordship Justice Kulendi, Lieutenant Jakpa, and the Learned Attorney General. So the things that happened in court today, some of it was terrible. I already talked about how the lawyers may be uncomfortable. But we're going to stay with two issues, the two takeaways from the court. So here they are. Our big takeaway from the court where we were this afternoon is as follows. One, Mr. Jakpa says he was victimized in the army, and that is why he failed his promotional exams several times. And that is why the army said he had bad conduct. Number two says he claims Kulendi went all the way to AG's office during the court's proceedings to ask the AG to help Jakpa to go home due to complications in the verification of the documents. And the third one we add is a text messaging, the story about the text messaging, which I've already said. So 3 stories. Let's begin with the first one. Francis Jakpa says he was victimized. He said that in cross-examination today, being cross-examined by the Director for Public Prosecutions, representing the prosecution in the matter of the ambulance trial with Kaysel Atufos, the minority leader, as the first accused person. Second accused person has been discharged by the court upon the discretion of the Attorney General as a result of proven ill health. And the third accused person is Mr. Francis Jakpa, who was an agent for a company called Big C, which was contracted by the government of Ghana, blah, blah, blah. The subject matter of the contract is before Her Lordship Justice Efia Sewa. Now, though, let's get to the details. Here, Jakpa says, according to records, he didn't pass his promotional exams from 2000 to 2007. He answered that he was being victimized. What is the story behind the victimization? Mr. Jakpa says that his father had something to do with the defense of the revolution. In particular, his father had something to do with the release of Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. I believe he may be referring to the interregnum between May 15th and June 4th. The June 4th coup that was occasioned by Boachijan, Mensah Poku, and others to release Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. And then Flight Lieutenant Rawlings was due to go back to court, the court-martial of the Ghana Armed Forces at Burma Hall on 4th June, Monday, 4th June 1979. The court's trial had begun already. It was led, the tribunal was chaired by Colonel Emisa. In those days, I believe the name is Emisa, yes. Colonel Emisa, who was the director of the directorate at the Legal Directorate of the Ghana Armed Forces. The director at the Legal Directorate of the Ghana Armed Forces, Colonel Emisa, I believe it is. Oh, no, the name is Enimfo. Colonel Enimfo. He was the director, Legal Director of Ghana Armed Forces in 1979. He was a lawyer. They call him a judge advocate, something like that. So he was chairing, and then the matter had been adjourned. Lawyers for Flight Lieutenant Rawlings included the famous William Abuduma, Bosman, Chachu Chikata, and others. We have that in some of our documentaries. The June 4th documentary is really there. You can Google it and look at it. So JJ was due in court, back in court on Monday, June 4th. And then at the dawn of Monday, June 4th, soldiers led by Captain Boachijan hit the BNI headquarters and released JJ Rawlings. Mr. Jakpa is telling us a story that suggests that his father may have been instrumental in that operation. He says, as a result of that, he was victimized in the Ghana Armed Forces. And he said that having joined the Ghana Armed Forces in 1998, I believe, he had 2 years of his second lieutenant to lieutenant without any exam, which is what it is. And then from lieutenant to captain, you have to write an exam. It takes 4 years to be lieutenant to captain. If you pass your exam in 4 years' time, you'll be captain. It turns out that he had difficulties in passing the exam. The matter was confronted to him in court today because I think the prosecution is trying to unravel the character of the witness, the character of the accused person. I guess that's what the prosecution is trying to draw at. So they will draw at anything that has to do with your history, your career, your background, something like that. So the prosecution found this one quite useful, and rightly so. So they asked him questions about it. Then he says, oh, my father was JJ's man, so they were victimizing me. In fact, when I was graduating, I was a top marksman. And I was a top marksman and I was sent to the Recce Regiment. The Recce Regiment at the time that he graduated had 2 bases, one in Sunyani alongside the 3rd Battalion of Infantry and one in Accra alongside the 5th Battalion of Infantry. I think Recce has one more right now. But for the longest time, those of us who grew up in Burma camp, Recce was in Sunyani and in Accra. So Mr. Jakpa was sent to Sunyani. And he said that as a result of his record in military academy as a great marksman, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings invited the Ghana Armed Forces to send him to Accra to be at Gonda Barracks, which is the base of the Recce Regiment in Accra. And today, Recce Regiment shares also with the 64 Infantry Battalion. So in that part of Burma camp, at the end of Burma camp, at the Arakan Mess, beyond those of you go and do sports, beyond the sports center, there are 3 important units of the Ghana Armed Forces: the Recce Regiment, the 64 Infantry Battalion, and the headquarters of the 5th Battalion of Infantry. They are all up there. Now, Mr. Jakpa is saying that JJ brought him over to Accra Perhaps so that he'll be nearer JJ. I don't know. I'm not sure why they didn't put him in the 64 Infantry Battalion. But this is the catch. The guy's difficulties in the promotional exam included when JJ was president. Here, JJ, his man, was president in the year 2000. Then came John Kufuor. He told the court and mentioned the name of Kwame Adokufor, the defense minister, mentioned the name of General J.B. Dankwa, the chief of defense staff at the time, in connection to his difficulties. And he says that because he's a Rawlings man, when the Kufuor people came, they didn't want him promoted. But his first examination difficulty was in 2000 when JJ was president. So I'm not so sure. I don't know. I don't know how the court will look at it, what the value they will do. But I'm just raising these questions that sort of pop out when you look at the material. These things pop out. Guy says, I'm JJ's man. My father was JJ's man. I'm JJ's man as well. JJ actually said they should bring me to Accra. During the period of JJ, you take a promotional exam from lieutenant to captain and the people say you have failed. JJ was president. Why did you fail your exam? Oh, Kufuor and his people didn't like me. They didn't like me because I'm JJ's man. Because I'm JJ's man, when Adokufor became defense minister, he didn't want to see my face at all. He and JB Dankwa, they didn't want to see me. And so they victimized me. Okay, fair enough. That's a story. But the guy didn't pass in JJ's 2000. Agyekum Kufuor was sworn in on 7 January 2001. By the time John Agyekum Kufuor was sworn in, the guy had already failed 1 exam. And he continued to fail the other 6. But the first one was under JJ. So, does it not sound incongruous? Anyway, that's it for now. Let's get to the second level of the argument. In the second level of the argument, let's go back to the base before we come to this. The questions, the 2 takeaways. Let's get there first. So it's fundamental and you can move on. Yes, thank you. Now, in the second level, we'll have a third level on the text message, but the second level of the argument, it says, JACPA claims that Justice Kulendi went all the way to the Attorney General's office during court proceedings to ask the Attorney General to help JACPA go home due to complications in the verification of documents used by JACPA to secure bail. Now, this is the story, viewers. This is because the matter is in court. The only word I can use to qualify it is interesting. He says, Justice Kulendi, thank you very much for this. Justice Kulendi sitting as a Supreme Court judge on a panel of 5. He's not sitting as a sole judge. And he's not sitting as an additional court of appeal judge. He's sitting as a Supreme Court judge. Panel of 5. He's not the only one on the panel. 5 of them. JACPA told the High Court today that whilst Justice Kulendi was sitting there, he phoned Justice Kulendi and said that whereas he has satisfied bail conditions, it was still being difficult for the people to grant him the bail for him to go home. And he told the court, this also, viewers, please pay attention if you can. He told the court that Justice Kulendi, upon receiving his call, his JACPA's call, departed from the bench. He told the court that Justice Kulendi was still robed in the legal wear. Look at where the Supreme Court, those of you who don't live in Accra, the distance between the Supreme Court and the Attorney General's office on a weekday by driving is easily 25 minutes. That's the minimum. It could be 45. It could even be an hour, but it's easily 25 minutes. JACPA told the court that the sitting Supreme Court judge, whilst sitting on the case, got a phone call from him, JACPA, relating to the difficulties of his bail conditions. And the Supreme Court judge left the courts, drove to the Attorney General's office. Here we depict Justice Kulendi and the Attorney General. My graphics guy, cartoon guy, is beautiful, man. That guy does a good job. You call him at 3 o'clock and say, Charlie, can you put a cartoon together? You don't have to say much. Papa, he'll do it. This is what he gave us. Beautiful, fantastic. So Justice Kulendi comes to the Attorney General's office, sits down in this chair. This is the Attorney General with his legs crossed in a blue suit. And then, please, you have to put a tie on Godfrey Dami. He's always wearing the tie. He doesn't do the things that we are doing here. So next time, graphics, put tie on Godfrey Dami, red tie or some black and white Adisco tie. Kulendi tells Dami that, arrange bail for my cousin JACPA. He's still in his Supreme Court robe. He climbs up to the 3rd floor of the Attorney General's office, the old office, because of course there's a new office called the Law House. He climbed up to the 3rd floor in his robe. This is what JACPA told the courts. I mean, if you are JACPA's lawyer, my goodness, what will be going through your head? That the Supreme Court judge stopped the sitting and left the 4, ran to the artist's car, went to the Attorney General's office and told him, grants my cousin Jakpa bail. What do you make of this story, viewers? I don't know. The matter is still in court and is before... Next photograph. The matter is still in court and is before the judge. So this is Jakpa in there. This is Jakpa in there. And he's looking for bail. And he says that Kulendi, he makes a phone call to Justice Kulendi, and Justice Kulendi stops his work. I mean, this is what he said. Justice Kulendi stops the work that he's doing, hearing a matter before the Supreme Court. He is still in his red and black robe, goes to Attorney General's office. This is what Jakpa told the court today. We have nothing to say about it, just to say that it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyway, now the last part of Jakpa's testimony, which is the most bizarre, is what I told you about. Text messages are 68. 68 text messages that he sent to the Attorney General, and the record shows the Attorney General replied 2 of the 68. He sent 68 messages, Attorney General replied 2. He was asking court that, can you confirm that many of the text messages you sent to the Attorney General, he didn't reply, he replied only 2 of them, which had to do with a schedule for you guys to meet. Then he says, he didn't reply because the text message I sent is motivational message. You are an accused person. Every morning you are sending Attorney General motivational message. Is he your friend? Is he your church member? Why are you sending him motivational message? Do you go to the same church? Are you in the same fellowship? You accused person, third accused. You claim that Attorney General helped you secure bail. Every morning you are sending him text motivational. I want to see some of those messages. Does it say that give up not, don't despair, move on to the next level. If you fail, you rise again. Good morning, Attorney General. Is that the thing he was doing? Is that guy a member of your church? Mr. Jakpa, this is what he told the court. This is what he told the court today. This is the kind of witness we are dealing with. The guy who can have a 26-minute phone call and produce only 14 minutes. He has 68 messages. He produces 25. Why do you produce 25? That is my case. This is my case. I have to produce my own. This is my case. So the other one is his case. So it's up to him. Me, I'm doing my case. I'm not doing his case for him. So the text messages that will exonerate him, I won't give it to the court. I will keep it to myself. The one that I think that the court will look at it and agree with me, I will give it to the court. So court, I have looked at all the 68. It's about 25 that are in my favor. So court, here, 25 gets. That's Jakpa. The same text messages is handed over to the NDC. So you see, I've been telling you that there are some good people in the NDC. When the NDC did the press conference, they were unaware that Jakpa didn't give them all until we came to show it here. So some of them were calling me and saying, why they asked about it in the Jakpa thing? When Johnson Asiedu Ketia, so Jakpa, he deceived the NDC chairman and Samuel Jemfi because he didn't give them all the text messages. They thought he had given them all. So the ones that we got, they didn't have. And that's what Jakpa confirmed to the court today. That he gave only 25 text messages out. The audio recording, he put out only 14 of 26 minutes. That's what he did. He picks and chooses. He's not interested in telling the court the whole truth. He's not interested. He's not interested in telling the court the whole truth. It would appear so. I hope he's interested. But it would appear that he's not interested in telling the court the whole truth. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. But the way it looks, you have to decide, viewers. And I'm sure that his lordship will decide so that we all know. But the way he does it, well, what can you say? I don't know. I really don't know. You don't know whether you should believe him. You don't know whether you shouldn't believe him. But he says, court, take 25. That's fine. That's okay. Take the 25. Take it. It's fine. Then the Attorney General now says, you are giving the court 25. My lords, I want to bring all 68 so that the court can take the value of it. 68 is the whole truth. It's nothing but the truth. 68, the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. Then lawyers for Jakpa, we can't tell whether it's on the instruction of Jakpa or it's on their own instincts. We really can't tell because lawyers are usually working on the instructions of clients, but we don't know this one. What happened though is that lawyers for Jakpa come out and say, Judge, we will object to your taking the text message from the Attorney General. We will object. That's what the lawyer said. We will object. Now, what is the basis of the objection? Of the objection? Then one of the lawyers says that the text message, the typed document that Attorney General is submitting is black and white. In text, some is green and some is white. Why is his own black and white? Viewers, you know the answer to the question that the judge gave? The judge said, but you two, the text message you brought, it was in black and white. So if yours was in black and white, why are you objecting to theirs in black and white? Then the guy says, well, the fact that ours is black and white was accepted doesn't mean that his own should also be accepted. Another lawyer said that, okay, let me study it first. So the court held the matter down and said, okay, let them study it on Thursday. Let's come and hear the objection. If there's no objection, we'll accept it. If there's an objection, we'll hear it and we'll rule upon it. This is what happened in court today. There will be more on Thursday. But you have to remember that Mr. Jakpa says out of 68, he gives 25. He doesn't want to give the rest because to go against his case. Out of the audio recording, he gave 14. So he gave text messages to the NDC. NDC were not aware that it's not the whole thing. And then based upon that, they held a press conference. Okay, story has ended now, hasn't it? Yes. Let's take text messages as I'm being beckoned to do so. When we come back, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa led a demonstration to leave our hotels alone. We have documents from Senate. And then we have Adenta Kumi in the studio who has brought an action at Shraj against Okudzeto Ablakwa for conflict of interest. We'll be talking about that. Should I start from Angelo this time? Angelo, what are people saying?
Okay, so Amicus Conscientia says, did Jakpa really object to his own WhatsApp message being used as evidence against him? By the way, I'm still searching for Sami Jamfi's update on today's court proceedings. Mohammed Nuruddin and Jesus Badalona want you, Paul, to invite Kweku Bako. They say they've really missed him. Okay, so moving on, we've got, right. Kofi Sakrista says, Apostle Paul, you're also a mathematician. And Joseph says, he said he objects on the basis that the printout of the chat is not in colored form. This came as a bewildering surprise to her ladyship as the WhatsApp printout offered by Mr. Jakpa himself was not colored. Papabi says, Paul, he detailed it, so he copied them from ChatGPT and posted them in their WhatsApp groups. Okay, Shaggy says, Paul, I'm watching you live from Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Keep on exposing their propaganda because they've got nothing else to offer. Moving on, we have Jesus Christ, so I can't pronounce his name properly. Amponsa. He says, I have not understood why my good friend John Seto Dumelo attributed the bottom-up approach to the NDC supporters. I have some guys in my constituency who are NDC, and their attitude is not. I still stand by my words that court deals with evidence, facts, and laws, and not emotions. I'm sorry Honorable Atu Forson has caused financial loss to the state, and he can't escape jail. My regards to Honorable Lawyer Patrick Yabuama, MP for Kaikwe Central Constituency. Nana Krama Button says, they say when a frog dies, they can see the full length of it. The way the NDC is hanging on the supposed leaked tape involving the AG and Richard Jakpa trying to implicate the AG will not stand. The truth will prevail, and there is no way darkness can cover it. Rushing through these briefly also. Nati Jokshan says, we are NAWA, the National Association for Lions and Wild Animal Rearers. Please request Paul to cease laughing at us. We need more dollars. Okay, and SK Boachi asks, Paul, do you purchase your suits from the same person Nana Kwame Bediako purchases his own? Maybe he suggests you're looking a bit ostentatious tonight. Lastly, Master Planner Jr. says, in fact, Samira Baumia is a woman every man should look out for, especially those who are not married. Interesting. He says, do your checks well if you want to succeed in life. Sarah, what do you have for us?
Okay, so Inshiraba says, I said from the beginning that this man, Jakpa, is not credible and incompetent as well. How can someone make a verbal request to you and you respond with 68 WhatsApp messages? Interesting times ahead. And also coming from Nana Anani, he says, Justice Kulendi has soiled his reputation. He should step down from the bench. Also coming from Yapapabi, she says, Paul, will Justice Kulendi take a stand to defend himself from what his cousin said? Also coming from Elder Kutin, he says, dope campaign song. Also coming from Julius Amwako, he says Dr. Baumia all the way. And Mercy Adair says the 24-hour economy policy was just a slip of tongue, but Ghanaians have become very vigilant to the point where no one can just say anything and go free. That's the confusion to explain. And then also from Solomon, he says going to court in the evening is a clear definition of 24-hour economy. Back to you, Paul.
Okay. This is where we are. All right. Now, this morning, there was a demonstration. What's the time now? We come to the demonstration story. Okay. It's 8 minutes to the top of that, 11 o'clock. This morning, there was a demonstration, wasn't there? There was a demonstration by Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa and others. Their concern is that the Social Security and National Insurance Trust is taking a position to revamp and revive all their hotels around the country. As a result of that, they have selected a vendor or a company to win the bid to take over 60% of all of these companies put together so that they will be able to revive it. The company has significant shareholding by Minister for Agriculture, Brian Achampong. I believe that in the processes, Senate were aware that Brian Achampong was a significant shareholder of the company that was bidding for this one. Brian Achampong is a hotelier and he's been in the business before he entered politics in 2016 as Member of Parliament for his people in Praiso area. This is the subject of the demonstration. I'd like to say something for the demonstrators. And whilst I say that, can you please show the video of the demonstration, the silent one? This morning, when they advertised for the demonstration to start at 8, many people were avoiding the route and all of that. Yeah, this is the demonstrators. And then at 10 o'clock, text messages started going around that, oh, the people are not many. The people are not many at all. The demonstration has failed. I want viewers to get something important, viewers, if you can pay attention. Demonstration is not about the number of people. It may be true that today's demonstration had few people. Yes, you can call it few people. You know, you can call it few people. Yes, thank you. You can call the demonstration few people. Yes, it was few people. But that's not the point. They are making a point. It's about democracy. It's about freedom of association. It's about ability to put your document to the Jubilee House and the Chief of Staff received it and promised them that to go to the president. That is the working of Ghana's democracy. That they were 300 and 400, I'm not sure it's important. Yes, everybody wants the demonstration to be big, but the fact that today's demonstration was just a few people, it doesn't take anything away from the fact that in Ghana you can demonstrate and go to the government and send your petition to the government. That's very important. I don't like it when people were teasing them on social media that, oh, you people are only 300, you people are 200, you people, they count 150. Some people were saying that, oh, it's not 150, it's about 410. Some said, oh, they started as 100, but by the time it was 12 o'clock, they were about 500, and they were laughing at them. I don't think that is correct. I don't think that is fair. Demonstration is not about numbers. Yes, Kumi Preko demonstration was large. It is huge. 100,000 people. Yeah, it's true. It's good. But if a demonstration is even 2 people, it is still a demonstration. The fact that it was a black one and a few others, it doesn't mean it's not a demonstration. It is. But let's get around and understand something. They are complaining about something about the hotels, about profits, margins, and all that. We'll get into that in detail on Thursday. But what we know now is that at the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa had filed this petition to the SHRAJ as a member of parliament, responsible Ghanaian. He's filed this petition to the SHRAJ and told the SHRAJ that what SNIT has done with Mr. Brian Achampong's company is illegal, is irregular, or is an administrative calamity, if you like. So SHRAJ would have to be given the opportunity to rule upon that. Before SHRAJ rules upon that, he is leading a demonstration to suggest that somebody is stealing somebody's lands. That's politics then. That's no longer trying to save the Ghanaian people, but it's politics. It's the same Ablakwa who went to length to challenge the late Jacob Echebelamte about the acquisition of a house, and the Supreme Court disagreed with him. The Supreme Court told him that he was wrong, and they had to use administrative fiat because Professor Mills was president to reverse the sale by presidential power, even though the Supreme Court has said that Echebelamte was right. This is what the NDC did, bastardizing the court, a complete violation of the rule of law. The thing Akufo-Addo likes, the rule of law, a complete violation of it, because Echebelamte was right, and it was Ablakwa, and Omane Boama, who championed this, made everybody hate Omeche Belamte, made every Ghana person hate Omeche Belamte. That's what they do. And that's the evil of politics. Using an opportunity to create hatred for another person in your favor. That's the evil of politics. Everything has an evil. There's evil in law, evil in medicine. There's even evil in football. That's why there's a red card. But the evil of politics is when there's a matter. It may be a genuine matter that needs ventilation, that Ghanaians have to decide on what the template is going forward. It may be that. But once you begin to use that to generate hatred, palpable hatred for a colleague in the opposition side, that's the evil of politics. Especially when the Bible says, take out the lock in your eyes before you do something. At the Shraj right now, a petition has been filed that Okudzeto Ablakwa has created a business without going through the processes where, as a member of parliament, he needed to disclose to the speaker, etc., etc. The Commission for Human Rights is prepared to hear that. Should people begin to demonstrate, or should a politician go and incite people to demonstrate, hey, Ablakwa has set up companies, is making profit, is making money from this and that and that. He has not disclosed to parliament. He has violated the constitution. Should people begin to do that, they have to wait and let Shraj give a ruling. Shraj may give a ruling and say, Ablakwa has done nothing wrong. Shraj may give a ruling and say, Ablakwa has done something wrong. It is only then that you can go publicly and express, if you do not have evil in your hearts for political purposes. It's 3 minutes at top of the hour. Let me welcome you, Adenta Kumi, into the studio. And what do you think about today's demonstration anyway?
Senior, I'll be very honest and say that this is the most deceptive demonstration that I've seen in this country. Very deceptive.
What does that mean?
Because the issues that the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa is talking about, he does not have evidence. I have a friend called Kofi Dinkra. He says that he who seeks equity must come with clean hands.
No, that's a maxim. That's a legal maxim. It's not Kofi Dinkra who said it.
He likes saying.
He likes using it. Okay.
Yes. But Senior, you've taken the Honorable Brian Achampong to Shraj, saying that he's committed some misconducts as a public person, but you've not been able to put just even one evidence down.
No, he's using the rhetoric. It's our land, it's our hotel, it's our that. They shouldn't cheat Ghana people, etc., tribalizing it a little bit. That's what he said.
This was the same thing that was done in the case of Jacob Belamte. And what did the court say?
Tell me.
I asked myself, why is he not in court, but rather Shraj? If you are really saying this is a serious issue, you should have gone to the court straight away. Not saying that Shraj is not a serious place, but it's because of something called conjecture. The court does not deal with conjecture. And he knows that when he goes to court, he'll be beaten. It's the reason why he's not able to take any issue to court, because there's too much conjecture in all his issues. So now let me even narrate it from. Recently, we saw that he's added the former chairman of the MPP.
Who? Blay, yes.
Chairman Blay, to it. Then you ask yourself, what is Chairman Blay doing there?
He says the Blay brothers have taken some beach.
Blay's sons.
Yeah.
But what does it have to do with Blay? If Blay's son happens to go and commit murder today, do you go and arrest Blay?
No, Hunter Biden is being charged, but not his father.
Not his father. So let me give you something. If we are going by the books of Okudzeto Ablakwa, let me give you something. When he became minister in 2010, in 2011, 2009,
deputy minister.
When he became deputy minister of information, 2011, something happened. A scholarship was granted by him to her sister called Ropel. Her surname is now Ropel. Mercy Ropel. She used to use the name Ablakwa Ropel. Mercy Ablakwa. Then when she got there, she got married. She has caused financial loss to the state. Why am I saying so? $33,000 US dollars was given to her as scholarship money.
But is it Ablakwa who does the scholarships? He was information minister.
I mean, the articles are all here to show.
No, but the scholarship is by scholarship secretariat.
There was, yes, it was by scholarship secretariat. But the question is, who pushed it for her?
We don't know. That's conjecture.
Well, we can say that's conjecture.
Yes.
But, well, I have my sources, and I know where my sources are coming from.
Okay.
And if we are moving from there, you understand that an issue happened in the States. This lady was asked to go and study nursing. For how many years? Over 10 years now, no certificate. Then I have evidence here what the lady went to do in the US. Just 2 years or 3 years ago, this lady, it pops out that she has records. I have someone who, this is some background.
What is in it?
Yes.
What is in it?
In it, she lives in the state of Wisconsin. She's lived in about 8 different places in Wisconsin. The money that the government of Ghana gave her to go and study, that very money, we've not seen the certificate. There's no record of her studying nursing in the US because from the records, she came out right after a year. So if Okudzeto Ablakwa has anybody to go after, he must go after his sister first and bring government of Ghana.
Maybe this does not come to his attention.
It's because he stands.
I can imagine Ablakwa say this about a minister's child. That this minister's child went abroad, 33,000, has not studied the nursing. He owes the government money. His father must resign from ministry. I can imagine him say that.
You know, the crazy part is that.
Take out the log in your eyes first. But this is very bad.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, or 2021, so 3 years ago, this lady went to for COVID money, this COVID funds in the US. She took $18,000 as a taxi driver.
I don't understand.
She went to school as a nurse. Now she's saying she's a taxi driver. Now her latest business is that she's rather a beautician. You know, there's this.
I don't understand the taxi driver. I don't get you. You are going on her Facebook page or LinkedIn or something.
No. I have. This is a background check in the US. An official background check. This is not just.
And she didn't study nursing.
She didn't study nursing.
When the record shows government of Ghana gave her money to go and study nursing.
This is an official background check.
Okay, I'll take it.
Official background check.
Can I send it to Ablakwa? I'll take the picture.
Yes, you can send it to him.
Okay.
He knows it. And I have evidence where she lives. Everything is with me. I mean, I didn't come to.
But how do you know? Where is the evidence that they're actually related?
So, Okudzeto Ablakwa's real name is Samuel Okudzeto. His stepdad, I have his stepdad who denied him. This evidence.
Oh, that part I'm not comfortable. No. Stepdad denied him. That's a bit too personal and private, so you can leave that aside.
Okay.
You say his real name is Samuel Okudzeto.
Yes, his real name is Samuel Okudzeto.
Yeah, which is his name?
When he was adopted at the age of 3.
Yeah, so since we have known him, is Okudzeto Ablakwa.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this very man's daughter, who is also his sister that he grew up with, I think he has about 3 sisters.
This is in the Dansoman area?
Yes.
Okay.
About 3 sisters. The Mercy was given a scholarship to go to the US. She's the one
So they're older than Sami?
No, she's younger than Sami.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She was the one that was arrested in the US for forgery. I mean, the news is all over. It's
the same Mercy?
The same Mercy.
Oh, I see.
And you know, there's a school of thought that was the reason why Okudzeto decided not to be like close to her again, and that's what brought a certain family feud, or let me say family issue.
Okay, I think that's fine. Let's get to the Shraj issue.
Yes.
The matter, the petition before Shraj. What is it about?
So the petition before Shraj is just simply 2 things. First of all, deceit. In 2023, the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa denied having a company. And also some allegations that some people, Something for Justice made, denied the company outrightly, that he didn't have anything to do with any business or wasn't doing any business like that. But what he didn't tell us, and now he's telling us in his Twitter page, on his Twitter page, on the 12th, just on the 12th of June, is that he set up a constituency project with a company called Volta Clenham, which has a shares of 500,000. This is the evidence, yes, which has shares of 500,000. But we are asking this simple question. if you are saying it's a constituency project, which was registered in 2021, why is it not functioning? That's one. Two, if it's a constituency project, do the constituency know about this project?
Yeah, but they'll get people to come and say they know about it. So the allegation before Siraj is that as a parliamentarian, he has set up private business without seeking permission from
without
the speaker,
seeking any permission.
and therefore in violation of constitution or standing orders.
Yes, and he deceived Ghanaians. That's the evidence. He deceived Ghanaians on his own Facebook that he had nothing to do with a business like that.
And now he says he
But
does.
now he says that, yes, I can show you the evidence.
Maybe he means
Now
the
he
business
said-
was registered after he denied it.
No, the business was registered in 2021. with
And he
his-
denied it in 23.
Yes, and he denied it on 17 February 2023.
Denied it how? Denied it before who?
He denied it on his Facebook platform.
When
And
the
he
story
does not-
started coming out.
Yes.
That I do not know any company like
Anything,
that.
and even insulted people on it.
But in accepting it now, has he said that maybe I forgot or...
In accepting it now, it was rather an insult that was directed to the petitioner. If you read the statement,
What does he say?
He used the word dollish. He said a doltish person, which means stupid person.
Oh.
Yes, that's what the honorable member said on his Facebook, on his Twitter, and I have
No, is it
evidence
in
to
response to the petition or
in response to the petition, and then addressed that this is a constituency project that he had set up and is dormant. But I just can't think about it. How can you have a constituency project with your wife as a director and with your friend? No constituency chairman on it. There is something going on in that project. And
what is the company set up to do?
Well, the company is set up to do agriculture stuff. So like farm produce and all those things. And there are rumors that it's because they went for a contract and they didn't get it, so they are fighting Honorable Brady Champon. And these are rumors.
Often, I mean, for the little I know about these investigative journalists, often is the person who loses the tender who calls them and says, go ahead and put the story out. So you hear them saying also.
So even for the last,
So the petition is before Siraj to make a determination that
Yes.
Ablakwa has violated the rules by not disclosing the business to the Speaker of Parliament.
The same
and
offense
obtaining permission to conduct the business.
conduct the business.
This is the same thing he's accusing Brian
The
Achampong
same
of.
thing he's accusing the Honorable Brian Champon.
That he has a business and he hasn't disclosed it.
Yes.
But
That's
Brian
why-
was doing the business before he came to Parliament. So I'm sure
I
that
mean,
in the
he-
process,
exactly.
he will tell Parliament what he is. Yeah.
Everybody knew Brian was a businessman before he came into politics. But
Not the same for Sami though.
yeah, not the same. But I asked myself, I've taken my time to look at his assets all over the country. And I asked myself, like, what work has Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa done? Whilst people were using their money to build hotels for people to get employment, he's just building houses all over.
You've seen his assets?
Oh, so I have more than evidence. He has a $3 million house now at Airport Hills.
I don't understand.
So
That's where he lives.
That's where he lives. That's why I said that he who seeks equity must come with clean
Sami
hands.
Okudzeto lives at Airport Hills.
In a $3 million house. His house address is here.
And the value is $3 million.
$3 million.
But I know he's a hard-working guy from school
Sir,
straight to politics.
So
I don't remember him having done any
what
business.
work has he done? He should come and tell us. And
I know him very well. He came straight from school 2007, 2008
Then
to politics, like Omani Boama, like
Yes.
all of them. He
Questions
has a
of-
$3 million house.
Yes, and even has a $1.5 million house in Norton, and it's a lake house. Yeah, you know how lake houses are expensive.
So his housing together is $4.5 million.
Just
the member of parliament.
The one in America is here. His
Oh, he has a house in America.
Oh, that was one of his first purchase. His house in America, first purchase with chandelier and all those things. His house in
But
America.
chandelier, the best. But,
I
Henry
mean,
House
sir,
has a
those
chandelier.
times, $130,000 when America was going through the housing
Oh,
crisis.
yeah, I remember the houses crashed when
Yes.
all the house prices came
Yes.
down. So he will make money now if he sells it. Because
Well-
by now 700.
So you ask me, what hurts me is the young NDC guys that follow him. I ask myself, what has Okudzeto Ablakwa done for you? What has Okudzeto Ablakwa done for you? That's why I say he who seeks. Sir, there's
That's
a lot.
$3 million house in airport. It's like, I want to go and stay there.
Sir, there's a lot. There's a lot.
$3 million
There's a lot.
house.
And there's been for
Are
him.
you serious about this?
So
Please, let me share this. Viewers, the views expressed are the views of Adenta Kumi. They are by no means good evening. In fact, we don't even believe it that Okudzeto Ablakwa has a $3 million house. We don't believe it. They are by no means our views. They are the express views of Adenta Kumi. Okay, but I'm enjoying it. Say more. So he has $3 million.
Yeah, he has a $3 million house.
$1.5 million mepe.
Yes, I'm.
Oh, but Sammy, you are not treating me well at all. Sammy, you are my junior brother. You are not treating me well. You know you have a house in Mepe, and when I met you at Kwesi Pra's house, you didn't tell me that, Paul, when you are tired, drive just Akosobu. Sammy, in fact, I told you that I go to your constituency frequently because I have some orphanage at Enumbu, so that I go to visit all the time. In fact, I was there last Sunday. I was in Enum last Sunday, and I see all the activity on Sundays at your constituency. I've told you before. And you didn't tell me that when you go to your Enum orphanage, can you please, instead of turning left to Enum, go straight and pass there, and then you can go to my $1.5 million. I mean, I once you have DSTV that I can watch Manchester United Sunday night, I'll go and watch Bruno Fernandes. Oh, Sammy, this one, I didn't treat me well. $1.5 million house in the village.
Yes.
Whoa, Lakeside.
Hey, you want to see the video?
No, not yet. Please, I don't want any information. No, you keep your video. Take a video yourself. Hey, this is shocking.
But, sir, one of the things that hurts me, and before all these things came up, before I started doing an investigation and a probe into him, I decided that let me watch his trend. And I wrote an article, Character Assassination, the Act of Character Assassination by Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. Over the years, when he came into the limelight, the Honorable Professor Hoy has already said that one of the boys that they took to insult President Rawlings. It was who? Yes, he said it. Page 201. If I'm lying, we can just open it.
Yeah, he said
working with the Rawlingses.
Yes.
For President Rawlings to reply that babies with sharp teeth. That was first.
That was a direct reference to Ablakwa.
Then the next major event, Jacob Echebilamte. I keep saying that what I'm doing is for Jake. It's not for Honorable Brian, or it's not for chairman. I'm doing for a dead man, because a dead man cannot speak. I was having a meditation and I saw this man in white. He said, go on with what you are doing.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you. It takes a lot.
Into spiritual things?
Well, Archbishop is my father, so Kavulia is my father, so you can imagine. But let's
go take text messages. It's okay, please. It's okay. Let's take text messages. Thursday viewers will come with a full throttle analysis on the hotel issue, everything that Senate decided, everything, the process that they went through, so that you can make your own decision about that. But we got the documents a bit late before we came to press tonight. Who do I begin with? Sarah? Okay, Sarah, what are people saying about this interesting story?
Okay, so from Master Planner Junior Kintampo, he says, facts and figures at work. Adenta Kumi should let the world know the bad dealings of Okudzeto Ablakwa, who behaves like an angel. And also, coming from Yapa Pabi, she says, Ablakwa is a judgment debt contractor. Martin Amidu said it. And Kwame Gok says, God will punish these thieves in Ghana Parliament, I swear. Also coming from Nana Otabel, she says, Paul, I like your meticulousness. Keep it up. Also coming from Lily Will, she says, Paul, are you a pilot tonight? Beautiful blazer. Also coming from Francis Mensah on the 24-hour economy. He says, Esiedi Ketie's definition has spoiled its cry. And lastly, from Ni Oko, he says, the NDC is a lost and confused party at sight. They don't have any alternative to Dr. Bawumia's campaign from 24-hour economy to lion rearing. This is a party that is confused, drifted off, and not ready for power. Let's give them another resounding defeat. DMB all the way. What do you have for us, Angelo?
Right, okay, so Citizen Francis says the Senate Hotel saga has exposed the hypocrisy of some politicians. They claim to be fighting for the nation's interests, but their true motive is a personal vendetta against Brian Achampong. If the buyer had any ties to the NDC, the silence would be deafening. But since it's Rock City, the outcry is overwhelming. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa's petition and demonstration are nothing but political posturing aimed at scoring, he says, cheap points. Let's call out this charade for what it is, a desperate attempt to discredit a political opponent. The fate of the hotels will be decided by the market. not political grandstanding. It's time to see through the smokescreen and expose the real motives behind this opposition. Aaron Babaku says demonstrations like these are a powerful way for citizens to voice their concerns and hold their government accountable. It is heartening to see individuals coming together peacefully to fight for the cause they believe in. Now, we have from Freeman Akpabli, he says, Apostle Paul, why should the government of Ghana led by Atu Forson engage someone who was sacked from the military in the first place? Atu Forson should have known better that the Jakpa guy would have a big question mark on him, so for Atu Forson to sign a deal with him is suicidal. Shadrach and Balaam says, please, I want to work for the guy over there. Dr. Hassan Ayaraga, APC, says, Mr. Paul, not Dr. Mr. He says, you are being unfair to other presidential candidates. Hassan Ayaraga is also on the campaign trail, and you don't show it. I don't know whether Metro TV is for LPP or Barabia. Raymond says, no, skipping this. Okay, Haj says the 24-hour economy no at all in. Okay, now let me zoom in here a bit. Okay, Enim Yeboah says, still Ghanaian workers will not allow you to sell the hotel. It's not about Okujeto, it's about Ghanaians, he explains. He says, you go explain Taya. In response to this, George Darko says, how come the Ahoys have shares in same hotels? You guys don't know anything and won't ask. That's it from us. Back to you, Paul.
Adenta Kumi will bring problem. Who is calling me? Selassie is calling. Selassie, wait, we'll finish right now. Okay. Viewers, I don't know what to say. On that note, it's been amazing coming your way with another edition of Good Evening Ghana. We can't wait for Thursday. We can't wait. Tomorrow's Wednesday, one day break. We can't wait. Thursday, we're back here in full action. Thanks for watching and good night.